Howdy, and welcome to the 10 at 10 for February 3rd of 2026. Y'all, we got 10 trees that are getting listed today at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's actually 20. We're going to talk about 10 today on the table.
Yeah, man, Groundhog Day, dude, that's like one of those kind of scary holidays for me, man. You know, after watching that movie, I was like, it's good to we made it to the 3rd, man, you know? We made it past Groundhog Day. But hey, that was a pretty good cultivar highlight that showed up yesterday. I wouldn't mind watching that a couple times, man.
Yeah, man, that cultivar highlight was dope. Now, guys, starting off today, we got Acer buergerianum Mino yatsubusa, a dwarf compact trident maple that really is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I love that kind of elongated leaf on that. But where I think those tridents really kind of impress me is just their tolerance. They are like a great street tree. They can handle a little bit of abuse. They grow really nicely and kind of handle any position that you put them in the garden. And especially with a little bit of heightened kind of ornamental appeal, really, really awesome tree right here.
Yeah, Mino yatsubusa would be a great candidate for bonsai or container culture. It stays a compact dwarf in its shape. It's got that elongated foliage you were mentioning earlier, but it's bronze over top of a green. And so it gives you this two-tone kind of effect. And when fall color hits, you get yellows infused with oranges and reds at the same time, making one of the most dynamic fall color displays. An underrated trident maple that stays dense and compact, typically 3 to 4 feet in height, about 4 to 5 foot width in 10 years.
A great pairing for some of these, I would believe, would be some of those low kind of Acer Japonicums that you get there. Get the play between the texture, get the play between the color during the fall time. Going to look great in the garden.
Guys, we're bringing the heat today. We're bringing you Acer Palmatum Red Sparkle. Now, this is one that we've offered before. When we first had this, we had it in the name of Icomans because it's a selection by Bart Icomans. Many of y'all may have seen that we've introduced Marielle, which is named after his wife, the secretary and treasurer of the Maple Society. But this tree, Red Sparkle, is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, that's a beautiful, really kind of thin, like leaf, reticulated red variety. I'll say Mr. Icomans is not a name we talk about all the time, but his cultivars that he puts in are next level, honestly. And this is a tree that I first got to see at the Maple Society meeting during the fall of 2024, I believe. We saw it at Dan Everett's garden. It was in a little pot, and I think that the name was still kind of in the works at that point. You know, I heard Love Potion number 9 thrown out there. I heard, you know, the true name that it got put on there. And this thing, it does kind of make your heart skip a beat a little bit. The really kind of nice pink colors it has, really, really beautiful.
Yeah, when we were at the Maple Society meeting, we heard that the name might have been Red Sparkler. And then Matt went and visited Bart and Marielle last year, and Bart specifically said the name is Red Sparkle. So if you did perhaps pick this up before when he listed it before on eBay, make sure you get that name changed to Red Sparkle. But this is an amazing plant, and this is the first time it's getting dropped here on Mr. Maple. It's a reticulated ghost-like selection that in the fall gets some really nice shades of red coming in that is just next level. And we got some photos there so you can actually see where it gets that name of Red Sparkle.
Yeah, this is definitely a cool one to watch. But those reticulated varieties, you can really kind of play with their positioning in the garden. You know, you get different colors from shade all the way to sun conditions. So putting it in a pot and letting it play around in the garden is always something that really helps out with these. Guys, coming up for all you shirasawanum lovers, we got Acer shirasawanum Ayakasa.
Yo, this is an extremely rare Acer shirasawanum. We've just been able to start offering more and more here at Mr. Maple. It's got that classic Acer shirasawanum leaf, and it'll get about 6 to 8 foot in height in 10 years.
Yeah, this one is one I got some experience with this fall. If you didn't get to see it, the video where we go around kind of a rental property that we have next to the nursery, where Matt and Tim have planted some of the craziest trees, you know, in the whole entire world, Japanese maple wise. This thing was kind of showing out during fall time. Really, really beautiful. I think that rounded leaf of the shirasawanums just really, it kind of falls in between that palmatum and that Japonicum feel. You get some really nice consistent colors out of this one. This one was throwing some beautiful orange, reds, and yellows during the fall time, man.
Yeah, one that's not commonly offered here in the United States. This is one that is a little more popular over in Europe. Guys, grab you one of these today. They're going to sell out fast. An awesome Acer shirasawanum. Guys, we're bringing you drama with Acer Palmatum Kotobuki.
Yeah, I mean, this one is one of the very first kind of beautifully variegated maples that I kind of laid my eyes on. And something that gets highlighted during the wintertime right here is that candy striping bark, which it has kind of a winter interest, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, this one will have just pink and white splotches of variegation in the early spring. It can really get some really nice shades in there. And that striping you're talking about gives you an extra added winter interest. Kotobuki is named after the Japanese drama theater, and because it is so dramatic out there in the landscape.
Yeah, I love just kind of like this one, the habit on this one. It's kind of got some nice small leaves, kind of gives you a nice kind of dense habit overall. And then that color during the springtime, it's just super beautiful. I've seen this one kind of hold some color out during the summer too, which is really nice, especially on some variegated maples. But like I've said, and you guys have heard before, I really think that pink, white, and green kind of combo, it really just does something out there in the garden. I think that it just kind of triggers something in your head, and it's a beautiful look out there. It can pair a lot with the yellows. It goes with any kind of color combo out there. And Kotobuki, these are some really nice sizes. And
yeah, and Kotobuki will end up getting about 6 to 8 foot in 10 years. So it is a smaller stature, mid-sized tree that fits great in containers. Same is true about this that is true about other Orita no Nishiki style Japanese maples. The more you prune on it, the more candy striping you'll get in the bark, and the more variegation you'll get. So we've got a full video on how to prune Orita no Nishiki style variegated Japanese maples to promote variegation. You can go check that out, get you one of these, and add that drama to your garden.
Guys, coming up next, we got some azaleas going on right here. We got Girard's Variegated Gem. And, you know, why would they name it that? Well, it's because it's got variegated leaves, guys.
Yeah, so this thing adds a lot to the garden. One, you've got an evergreen foliage. And here in Western North Carolina, a lot of the evergreen azaleas are semi-evergreen. They may drop some of the foliage to them. But in the springtime, you just get some beautiful pink rose colored blossoms all across this that contrast with the creamy variegation on that blue-green center of the leaf.
I think azaleas are one of the best plants in the landscape. I think that, you know, you can really kind of get crazy with them, whether, you know, you're using them as hedging. I've seen them kind of splotched in between like these kind of rock crevices in Japan where they build up these giant rock walls and they just have little azaleas kind of splashed through there. And that really helps develop their form. And then you kind of getting some really nice blooms on that. But you don't even need the blooms because the variegation is awesome in itself. It's going to pair really nice with that Kotobuki we just showed on there. It'll pair nice with those Beni Shishihingas, those butterfly types. And yeah, super awesome thing. Whenever you can get something that's going to give you that flowering aspect in the garden, and then you also get the foliage, I mean, that's a win-win.
Yeah, plant variegated plants like this up close, near a walkway, near the foundation of your home, somewhere you're going to really get to appreciate the intricacies of that variegation up close. And that'll allow you to really experience these plants to the utmost.
All right, guys, coming up next, we got Acer Palmatum Red Pygmy, man.
A great selection by our good friends at Esfeld Nursery. Corey Van Gelderen was giving a garden talk, and he went out to the garden at Villa Toronto Gardens and spotted Red Pygmy and Villa Toronto out there and said, man, these should be introduced into the trade. He got them grafted, and the rest is history.
Yeah, I mean, it's super awesome. I think this would pair really nice with some other Linerlobums. You know, something that's going to give you some nice yellow colors during the fall time. I believe that would just be super amazing. This being kind of that smaller size stature, it's going to fit in a lot of people's gardens. And then with that Linerlobum effect, man, I just love that because, you know, you get that beautiful kind of bamboo-esque feel in the garden. This would look perfect next to a little koi pond. It'd look perfect next to maybe, you know, a little nook in the corner of the garden where you can just kind of hear the rustling of the leaves and kind of see the sun peek through the Linerlobum.
Yeah, and Red Pygmy is one of those trees that can really deceive you as it's got some good red color, but then can go to those yellows and oranges late, sometimes some red, but really those yellows and oranges in the fall. So you can really get a contrast with what it is in the spring and the summer. Excellent tree to add some color into your garden. Guys, you better call all your conifer friends because we're dropping Blue Haze again on Mr. Maple. It's an introduction by Buckholtz Nursery. It's one that Talon had out in the garden for years, And when we bought Buckholtz Nursery, he said, guys, I got this witch's broom on the Cedrus atlantica I really haven't done much with. Y'all should introduce it. And so we did.
Yeah, Blue Haze, aptly named. I just love kind of that beautiful kind of teal, minty blue color that it gets. And just the way that it has this like beautiful kind of stair-stepping, terraced kind of look, just looks so nice out there in the garden. And it stands out in the blue forest for a blue conifer. I mean, what can you say about that, man?
I mean, that's pretty cool. And conifers are just so awesome out there in the garden. You get some of that blue color out there all throughout the year. Contrast with the maples that go through the change to the seasons. And so you can add these to your garden to add that next level. Blue Haze is a Cedrus atlantica, so it's a blue atlas cedar. I love the colors that the blue atlas cedar can provide. And this was a witch's broom that Talon had already done all the evaluation. We're talking about a seedling, a witch's broom that was sitting there in the garden that was 40 years old. I mean, dense, compact, looking beautiful. It was easy to say, yeah, let's go ahead and introduce that.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I'd probably walk past this tree a couple of times in the garden, and then we finally did, after Town gave the go-ahead, we shot a little cultivar highlight about kind of just some different trees in the garden, and this was one. And man, I just love seeing some of the pictures because it reminds me, Matt and Joel were having a good time that day. They were out there dancing, and this tree kind of evokes that, man. I think that having this beautiful little kind of dwarf conifer out there that's going to give you some beautiful blue color, pair it with, you know, some of those yellow conifers, maybe one that we're going to show here in a little bit.
We have a yellow conifer coming up.
It would look great next to that.
What do you think that yellow conifer could be? Guys, we're bringing you the Chief Joseph.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite conifers. This is a Pinus contorta, so it is a Pacific Northwest native out there. Super dope. And I'll say, man, this is a tree that goes into some shades of yellow, unlike any other tree I've seen, but especially any other conifers that I've seen, man.
Yeah, I love the yellow this thing can provide. It gives a nice upright form, almost like a Christmas tree-esque kind of shape. Doesn't get super wide, but it gives you that yellow color throughout the season that is outstanding. And in the winter months, it's intensified. It's a highlighter. It's a beacon out there. And you mentioned the blue conifer forest. We've got some Chief Josephs out there in the blue conifer forest that just give great contrast out there with the blue playing off the yellow. And so this is a great thing to put out there next to your Blue Haze. You want to make sure you give it plenty of good drainage. If you've got clay soil like we do here in Western North Carolina, amend your soil. Good container plant. This is a Pinus contorta. And like you were saying, it was a native to the Pacific Northwest. It was found in the Wallowa Mountains, and it was named after Chief Joseph of the Wallowa tribe.
Yeah, I think that's pretty awesome. Something that I do love about this tree, during that winter months, this thing just really starts going to some crazy like bronzes. And I know Tim's always talking about yellows. He's kind of giving me that mind virus, man. I'm like, dude, the yellow's in the garden. I see it now, man.
They're good, man.
So this is something that's going to bring out all those other colors in the garden. I tell people, you know, sometimes I look at my little kind of collection of pots I got out there. Man, it's looking a little dreary out there in my garden. But if I threw this in there, we'd be getting some play going on in there. It'd start looking a little pop of color in the garden. And that's sometimes what we're missing during the wintertime. Chief Joseph is one you are not going to want to miss out on. Yeah,
and Chief Joseph will do phenomenal in the Northeast and the Northwest. If you're in the South, you know, it can be on that picky side. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you that. Containers, avoiding putting it into red clay. I think that's probably one of the best things of advice I can give you on growing it in the southern parts of the United States.
Yeah, like I said, this one is going to go fast. People love this guy. It is completely understandable because if you look at the picture I'm posting right now, you'll completely understand why Chief Joseph is something you need in your landscape.
Guys, we're bringing back some of y'all's favorite Acer Japonicum, but in 3 gallons this time, we're bringing in Mujaku.
Yeah, this tree goes by many names, man. The Dancing Peacock, Aconitafolium, Mujaku is the name I like calling it.
Fern leaf?
The fern leaf, yeah, exactly.
That's in Veritree's book.
So you might see this thing as a couple different names, but just know they're all talking about the same plant. And Mujaku, Probably my favorite tree. I know that might be a little crazy, but I think this tree has so much sentimental value to me. Just because from working here, and then also my grandpa kept peacocks back in the day, so that was something that's cool as well. Planted one kind of in memory of him at my mom's house, and I think that this is, I don't think I'm having a hot take right here. It's probably one of the best fall color maples to ever exist.
It's pretty awesome. And the fall color on Mujaku goes to the fall color based on the length of the day shortening. So it's very consistent out there in your garden. And you'll get yellows, oranges, and reds all at the same time, sometimes across one leaf. So it puts on a great display across the entire tree. Now the leaves themselves, if you look at each individual leaf, almost look like a peacock displaying its feathers, where it gets its name of dancing peacock, which in Japanese is Mujaku. This thing is beautiful, and it adds that tropical feel in the landscape. Even when it's not in fall color, you get a really nice green, but a little more open-like habit, typically reaching about 8 foot in 10 years. Guys, this is a killer tree. If you don't have this classic, this is one you'll definitely want.
Yeah, I mean, the great sizes in this tree right now. This is one I wish we always had the size of, because I think people would pick it up any chance they could get, man. I love this tree. Yeah, just the way that this has so much textural contrast in the garden comparatively, how it has so much structural contrast. It really kind of fits into a lot of landscapes. And I'll just say one of my favorite specimens of Mujaku I've ever seen at Buckholtz. He just has this huge kind of wide tree, and it just has this kind of stoic, strong structure out there covered in this like kind of lichen and moss. And then you just look up and you look into it. That divided leaf allows all that sun to come through, and then watching it change during the fall time, that's a magical experience, man.
With over 50 years at Buckholtz Nursery, which is insane. He's got some massive old specimens out there. And this is a classic that you're going to love and you're going to fall in love with. I know Corbin's fell in love with it. There was a Mujaku that on Thursdays, we allow people to come shop some of the larger materials that can't be shipped here at Mr. Maple. And you can contact our office to schedule an appointment for our larger material. But someone was shopping and they said, this tree looks really good. And Corbin had been eyeing this particular Mujaku to take home for himself. And when the customer went and started looking at it, like, is this one available? Corbin's response was, no. It went ahead and told him he was taking that one home. So he went ahead and took that one home with him and talked the customer into getting another tree.
Hey, I'll say I'm a changed man. That was when I was in my full kind of maple fever, I'll say. So, you know, not my proudest maple moment. But I was like, hey, I got to get me a really, really beautiful Mujaku, because, you know, the longer you have one of these in your garden, the better it looks. So, guys, you do not want to miss this.
Now, guys, before we get into this last tree we're talking about today, we got an open house coming up April 11th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. where you can come shop here on at Mr. Maple. There's more details on the website on Mr. Maple about how to get here. Go ahead and book your hotel now so you can be here early in the morning on Saturday, April 11th. We have a food truck. It'll be a lot of fun time with awesome trees and other people who enjoy this hobby of growing Japanese maples just like you do.
Yeah. Something I will always recommend to people coming to open house. Guys, you can put your trees you're getting right now on hold. And then whenever you make, you know, your homage to Mr. Maple, you can tell us. We'll bring all your stuff up from the holds. You know, we'll put it to the side so you can pick it up afterwards. And then you can just go through all the nursery, check out everything you want to check out. Guys, we all know there's going to be some stuff that's going to catch some people's eyes. There always is at open house. And it's a great experience to come and check out all the maples, pick out your own trees, and you get to meet Matt and Tim in person, get their autograph, you know, who knows?
In this greenhouse we're standing in, as most greenhouses, there's several hundred cultivars in this one greenhouse. So you can go through the greenhouses, search, find some of these cool plants that we might not even have listed on Mr. Maple. And sometimes there's fun, exciting new things that are getting released at our open houses. So it's a fun time for us to be able to share and bring you in to sort of show you behind the scenes here at Mr. Maple. Guys, lastly, today on the 10-10, we got some 3 gallons. One of my favorite trees, Acer Palmatum Summer Gold.
Yeah, this is definitely a last but not least kind of situation, because we got these beautiful summer golds, man. Some good sizes, really nice structure on these. Man, this is one of the best trees there is out there, I feel like, man. It's like it hits all those kind of points you want to hit on a certain, that spring interest tree. It gives you that summer interest and that fall interest too. Summer gold, man, that's a tree that we talk about a lot.
6 to 8 foot in 10 years. This is a sister seedling to Acer shirasawanum Jordan. So this is actually an Acer palmatum X shirasawanum, but because the leaf looks a little more palmatum, it got that palmatum name. But if you actually look at the bark on summer gold, it has more of that shirasawanum-like grayness to the bark as it matures, sort of indicating that it is actually a sister seedling to Jordan. Summer gold, once it's established in the landscape, will hold that yellow color very well out there, but it'll also be able to handle a little more sun. And that is one thing that is really unique about this yellow Japanese maple. The yellow brings out all the other colors in the garden. It's flashing out there in the summer, brightening up that boring garden in the summer, but it'll contrast with your reds, your greens, and allow you to really see every color out there in the garden. Guys, make sure you grab you a summer gold today.
Oh yeah, this is one that's going to pair with so much stuff out there in the landscape. And I think it's a tree that kind of holds some secrets too, man. I think this is a tree I've seen the most sports on consistently. And Irene is a sport off of summer gold, which is one of my favorite trees as well. So this one's always a fun one to collect seed off of, to be watching in the landscape, because sometimes you never know what this one's going to throw at you, man.
Well, guys, thanks for joining in for today's 10 at 10. These trees get listed at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The other 10 trees we didn't talk about, that's in the email that you can sign up for on MrMaple.com. So check that email to find out the other 10.
Yeah, guys, thanks so much for watching. Remember, take care.
God bless.
And have a great day.